Shalom Alechem. I haven't been using this YouTube account for a while right now. I'm gonna try to keep things actual because there has been some things through which I wasn't completely unable to do so. What I would like to do in order to give my YouTube account a boost and to use it for the relevance of Torah and my personal connection with Torah mitzvot and share about this Torah mitzvot Hashem and my personal connection, way how I'm looking in this at the world, in this human experience. I want to share a lot, of course, between my first initial video and everything else till this upload in this video has been very hectical. We see a lot of changes in the world and it hasn't been getting anything better. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. So what I would like to do is I would like to share my thoughts with the world. I would like to share my thoughts back then. I was not so connected with the Torah as I am right now. There's a lot of things that have been changing, and I want to more frequently keep this YouTube channel neder. I want to keep it updated, neder. And the thing is, I'm not very certain about my current situation. If you look at the initial video, the first video that I used in order to start my account. But it's a matter of fact that in the past I have been recording a lot of videos. Those videos all have a lot of relevance. The way I'm structured, Baruch Hashem, is that I always have a lot to think about and a lot to say and a lot of to relate to. I cannot say that things are boring around me. I have a lot of things to do, but that makes it really crucial and difficult. But what the next thing is that I want to state here. The next thing that I want to state is that it is very difficult because let that be the point here. That's the thing. I am reserving time to study Torah, but I don't have time to make. I don't have much time to make punctual recordings and edit things. So I hope that my efforts and everything whatsoever to this point is good enough, because I'm honestly trying to offer the best possible quality of what I can put myself to. So I want to discuss that. That's further notice on how this account has been so far. And for that matter, before we proceed in my study, is that I wanna start here with something very important. There's been a lot. Wait a second, I have to mute this. Mute that. There's been a lot of things going on, and I have been going through a lot of personal processes. The time we are living in hasn't been fun so far for everyone. I think everyone has things, and we can see kiruv projects all over the place. We can see rabbis that say like, hey, now is the time. If you want to be part of the Jewish people, convert. become Noahites, do teshuvah, invest in Torah, invest in Israel, by any means, because we are on a siege. And now we have this situation going on in Homs, in Syria. So we can see that there is a lot of actual things going on here. We have a situation going on for quite a while between Russia and Ukraine. We have a situation going on in America where anti-Semitism levels have been rising to the max in 2022, and we have been seeing this pressure also extend in South America and in Europe. I don't know what this means in South America, but South America also is not really the place to be, and we have seen a recent fire in Sydney, if I'm not mistaken, in Australia. So anti-Semitism is a big subject here. Anti-Semitism. So give me the time to get my book here, because I'm about to show something here. I hope that the music in the background is not something that is distracting. If it is, let me know in the comments so I can improve my content. But for me, it's very crucial and essential in order to help me focus and stay central. I have here the Midrash Rabah physical, and we are gonna go into Midrash Rabah. We are in this parasha. It's already we are almost in next parasha, but I wanna contribute something. I have been studying this parasha from Midrash Rabah. I've been studying it multiple times because I want to understand it. I want to understand what this means in a Peshat kind of way. When we take things to the Peshat, but also when we look through the eyes of how the Midrash has been written and how it has been compiled, right? We want to know. We want to have answers. And also how we can see this in the world around us. Because this Midrash Vayishlach is about Yaakov and Esav. It's not just about Yaakov and Esav, but it is this is a thing that has been going on for a long time. Because the thing is, like, a lot of people say that we are in battle with Amalek, but who is from whom is Amalek descendant? That's right, from Esav. So there is a lot to say about actual topics here, and there's been a lot. We can see here Christians that are debating Jewish people and Noahites and historians and people that are schooled in theology over matters on how to interpret the Jewish text and things like that. So if I say we want to know, we want to know, right? We do want to know. What does that mean? And what does it not mean? And we want to know. So if we go to the opening text here, as has been written and established in Midrash Rabah, we can see, and Yaakov sent messengers or angels before him, right? This is in Genesis 32 verse 4. I'm not going to quote it unless it is, I'm not going to quote the first numbers. You can go there in Midrash Rabah and or get a book, or go to Zavaria or another place where they offer the Midrash Rabah to look for yourself. But what I have to say here, so, and Yaakov sent messengers or angels before him. Rabbi Pinhas commenced his discourse in Rabbi Reuben's name. Arise, O Lord, confront him. So said Rabbi Pinhas 5 times in the first book of Psalms that thus David HaMelech petitioned the Holy One, blessed be he, to rise. For it has been written, Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger. Arise, O Lord, lift up thy hand. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Arise, O Lord, confront him, said God to him, my son, David, even if the petitionest me to rise many times. I will not rise. Okay, let's pause here. I have some commentary and some questions here, because there's many other books that offer this kind of commentary, but my mind says that it is written in Sefer Habayir, what I'm gonna quote next, because in certain sense, Midrash Rabah can be very mystical. So maybe we can get there and approach it a little bit in a mystical sense, because plainly it says here, and don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it too much. I'm not a rabbi. I'm studying and I'm quoting things. It says something in Sefer Bible. But before we get there, you have to follow me along. So 5 times in the first book of Psalms does David petition the Holy One, blessed be He, to rise. And it says, arise, O Lord, save me. I am not going to look for the Hebrew right now. I can do it, but the thing is like, I don't have a Hebrew text in front of me. I'm using a specific edition. This one is Rabbi Dr. H. Friedman, which is also a bachelor and PhD. But the thing is like, he's a professor. He wrote this book. Sometimes it has some Hebrew in there, but that's only to show you the difference between certain Hebrew words. And sometimes it's very phonetical and a transliteration of a certain word, but sometimes it uses the letters in order to refer to the letters. So in that sense, it is very specific, this book. So in that matter, it is specific that 5 times in the first book of Psalms does David petition the Holy One, blessed be He, to arise, to rise, and it uses the word arise and the word save me, and then another name for God. So Hashem and Elohim. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger. The word anger is being used here. Well, since we don't have the Hebrew, we don't know which word for anger, but we won't stay here for the reference point. If it is necessary, and if you wish or want me to incorporate the Hebrew, let me know. But for me, it's a little bit more convenient right now, because I wanna progress through this parasha. So it says this 5 times, and it says the word anger, thine anger, to be more precise, and lift up thy hand. It does not say right or left hand. It's not very specific here. It says lift up thy hand. According to Sefer Rabah here, if it is not specified the right hand, but just thine hand, this can allude to the midah of gevura, but also it can allude to the midah of gevura if the word mighty hand has been used. And what does that make you think of? The whole connection with the fact that it has been written with strong or mighty hand, Hashem brought us out of Egypt, right? So this is already connected to Mizraim, and that's very interesting, because plainly it does not, in a Peshat way, what we are reading here, it does not really state that, but how this is reconciling is kind of interesting, how this comes back. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Arise, O Lord, confront him. And confrontation shows like 2 kind of things, right? 2 extremities, or 2 ends of an extremity that are set linearly against each other. So said Elohim, God, to him, my son David, even if thou petitionest me to rise many times, I will not rise. Ooh, it says multiple things here. It says not only my son, while the Christians have a different opinion on this, it's using the word my son here, right? So David is considered the son, according to what's written here. That's what we read here. Even if thou petitionest me many times, I will not rise. But when will I arise? Question mark. That's how this matter ends here. And then it says, when thou seest the poor oppressed, and the needing seeking, as it says, for the oppression of the poor, for the seeking of the needy, now will I arise, says the Lord. And what is the word for, what's a word for poverty in Hebrew? Dalut, right? And also the word dalut hints at the letter dalet. And the word letter dalet is alluding to the kingdom, which is Malchut. So there's a very interesting connection here. And for that matter, he will arise. As it is written in the book of Psalms, in Psalm 12:6. So Rabbi Shimon ben Yonah said, now will I arise, as long as she, Yerushalayim, wills in the dust. I too am oppressed, if one might say so. And it is written about this matter, right, that those who mourn for Yerushalayim will rise with Yerushalayim, because oh man, I don't know how to express that, but this is a clear interaction that has been written multiple times. I repeated it multiple times. So when we go on, so as long as Yerushalayim wallows in the dust, I too am oppressed, if one might say so. And the commentary here says the sense is completed by the addition of the bracketed words, which is taken from the Yalchut. But when that day cometh, in connection with which it is written, shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Yerushalayim. This is written down in the book of Isaiah. And if I'm not mistaken, the other thing that I wrote about rising with Yerushalayim, if you mourn about Yerushalayim in connection with Tisha B'Av in the 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, that too is quoted from the same book, but I'm not entirely sure. So in that hour be silent, all flesh, before the Lord, as has been written in Zechariah. In that hour be silent, all flesh, before the Lord. Was being afflicted during fast day the flesh. So in that hour be silent, all flesh, before Hashem. Why? For he is aroused out of his holy habitation, like a fowl which shakes itself free from the dust. Confront the wicked before he confronts thee. Cast him down. So when, what? So when, and what does that mean? How do they confront us? To endure in Israel. That's how they confront us, right? This can be likened to people that when you are doing something to show the beauty of being a Jew, or having Jewish heritage, and not necessarily being Jewish, or whatsoever, anything related to Judaism. If you are for a holiday, what do? They post like a Palestinian flag or hateful commentary. That is how they endure Israel. They try to curse Israel. They try to inflict painful matters. It's always painful in a certain sense. Also, if they confront you in the street and ask you, are you a real Jew? We are the real Jews. That's what they say. We are the... And I saw this video where a rabbi, or I don't know if it was a rabbi, I think a lot of people in Chabad have a lot of knowledge, so I automatically think it is a rabbi, but he gave a really sharp answer. If you want to be a Jew, act like a Jew. That's it, right? That makes a really powerful statement. And I'm saying this to people wherein I just have a doubt that they are envious about Torah If you want to have a relationship with Torah, here, take this book and read it. Take that book and read it, and take that book and read it. But if you don't, you cannot make a claim because you don't know what it is about in the first place. And what it really means to take the burden of 630 mitzvot that goes along with struggling, but you do it with love and fear. And that is something that the nations don't like to hear. Even if it is relevant for understanding the origins of their religion that originated from the Abrahamic faiths, right? So, because it still is monotheism, right? We want to be monotheists. That's the whole thing with Abraham, the first patriarch. So, confront the wicked before he confronts thee. That means you can already see how he is going to approach. If you have your answer ready, then he will flee in 7 forms. Cast him down. Judge him in the scale of guilt. Punish him. So this means punish him. Here, this is Esau, and Rome is regarded as the whip of God. Indeed, because if you move a little bit higher than this, and we think about the fact, why does that exist? Because we can disregard it as evil, but indeed it is a whip. They oppress and rule over us if we are not doing what we are supposed to. But if we have our answer ready, because we are schooled in Torah mitzvot, and we know, and we can show that we know better than them, they will fear us. And they will respect us. But if we don't and we behave like them, they will hate us. Break him in the first. Break him as in the first. So they are bowed down and fallen. They are bowed down and fallen. Yeah. This is again from the book of Psalms. Deliver my soul from the wicked. Thy sword, deliver my soul from the wicked one who advances against me, in the virtue of the sword thereof. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live. And that is something, according to Zohar, that is something that we shouldn't do. Why not so? They want to wage war, let us wage war. Let us. No, that's not what we are doing. In a certain sense, we don't want to look at a book, Torah as a book of instruction manuals, in the sense that drives us to only things that are only subject to civilization and agriculture, but that is one of the parts of it. We have technology. If we know how agriculture works, then we are not the consumers. Why? Because we don't have the necessity to rely on such a system that is basically just taking animals and depleting the world out of animals so that there is no animal left. Because that does not sound efficient, does it? That does not sound in agriculture kind of way. And if we abstract that, if we live off the sword, well, there is this thing that and this is not necessarily Torah, but that's what they say. The Edomites say to live by the sword is to die by the sword. Yet they do that. They follow that example. We see a lot of wars, right? That's what the Edomites say. So we reconcile and do things a little bit different. We don't want to be stuck in this loop. But yet there is a conflict going on. It's not just a conflict. We are really close, according to biblical prophecy, according to certain scholars and opinions, really close to Gog and Magog, which is the gematria value of 70. So we are really close to that. And we know what that means, and what kind of position the Edomites, the Ishmaelim and the Edomites have, together with Amalek. This has been written down in Zohar, and it has been written down in other places. We see all the science all together, as well in Mishnah Sota, right? How there will be a lot of chutzpah in those days. We see all those ingredients. Yet, it's written right here. And by thy sword shalt thou live. When? So it says, first, deliver my soul from a wicked one who advances against me in virtue that the sword whereof it says, and by the sword shalt thou live. Another interpretation of thy sword. Who's the sword? What is the sword? He, Esau, is thy sword. For with him dost thou chastise the world. So here Esau is Rome and is regarded as the whip of God. Wherein the older shall serve the younger, right? Or not? We are going to find out in a bit. So Rabbi Joshua of Siknin is interpreted it. So he interpreted it in Rabbi Levi's name. Deliver my soul from that wicked one who will fall one day by thy sword. As it says, for my sword had drunk its fill in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Edom. Again, I'm going to read it again. I didn't quite grasp that. But you want to grasp it multiple times. Now wow. And we are going to explain in a bit why. Deliver my soul from the wicked one, who will fall one day by the sword. As it says, for my sword hath drunk its fill in heaven. Wait a second, I'm gonna turn down the music a little bit. Behold, it shall come down upon Edom. It shall come down upon Edom. It's written in the book of Isaiah. I don't want to keep ripping on Christians though, but so I'm gonna try to stop doing that. But it's gonna be relevant in a bit. Might be so. However, wait, let me walk there, it's more convenient. Yes, like this I can barely hear it, but yes. So it's talking about the word drunk, but it's fill in heaven. My sword had drunk its fill in heaven. So it's talking about drinking. It's fill, like as in a portion. Everything has its portion in this world. In a certain sense, it has to. Maybe not the portion people want, but it has a portion. Everything has its portion. And hopefully Be'ezrat Hashem in the next one. So, behold, it shall come down upon Edom. So, said the Holy One, blessed be he, to him Esau, to him Yaakov, Esau was going his own way. Yet do sendeth him, saying, do said my servant Yaakov. And there's a commentary here that states, you would have had nothing to fear had you not drawn his attention to you. That the same applies to Yaakov's descendants in a relation with Rome. So Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Shimon commenced his discourse as a troubled fountain and a corrupted spring. So as a corrupted spring, so is a righteous man that giveth way before the wicked. Again, so this proverb, as a troubled fountain and a corrupted spring, so is a righteous man that giveth way before the wicked. What can we learn from that? I know. Sounds a little bit in an allegorical way like don't cast pearls before a swine. But we know about the spring, right? We need to be very careful with that. So, as a fountain can not be permanently troubled, muddied, nor spring permanently corrupted, so is it possible for the righteous to sink permanently before the wicked. As a troubled fountain and a corrupted spring, so is a righteous man who obeys himself before the wicked. It is unworthy for a righteous man to act thus. The word permanently is added in order to reconcile what is otherwise an obvious contradiction. However, proposes that the passage be amended as it is possible for a fountain to be troubled, and so on. Here we go. So, for the righteous to sink permanently before the wicked, and trouble fountain and a corrupted spring, so is a righteous man who obeys himself before the wicked. Says the Holy One, blessed be he to him, Yaakov, he Esau, was going his own way, yet thou didn't send to him, saying, thus said thy servant, Yaakov. Rav Huna commends thus, he that passeth by and meddleth with strife not his own is like that taketh a dog by the ears. So, no one but Samuel said, this may be compared to the case of a robber who was sleeping on a bed when a man passed and woke him up, saying, get up, for there is a danger here. At that he rose and began beating him, at which he, the victim, cried out. And what did he cry out? God rebuke this wicked man. I was asleep, he retorted, and you woke me up, even so did the Holy One, blessed be he, say to Yaakov, that he, Esau, was going his own way. Yet you did send to him, saying, thus said thy servant Yaakov. Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Shimon quoted, what will thou say when he shall set the friends over thee as head, whom thou thyself hadst trained against thee? That's the only one, blessed be he, said to him, he was going his own way, yet thou did send to him, saying, thus said the servant Yaakov. It keeps quoting this verse, right? Malachim. Why does it say Malachim? Malachim. Should have. I can add this dot. Do I have a pen? No, unfortunately. So, messengers. These were none but human messengers. That's why it says this. Okay, that's suitable. The rabbi said it means literally angels. Oh, no, it's right. If an angel escorted Eleazar, who was but a servant of the house, how much the more this one, Yaakov, who was the beloved of the house. Rav Chama ben Hanina observed, Hagar was but Sarah's handmaid. Yet 5 angels appeared to her. How much the more than to this man? Who's this man? It says here between brackets, Yaakov, who was the beloved of the house. Rabbi Yanai said Yosef was the youngest of the tribal ancestors. And then in the commentary it says, not quite, since Benjamin was the youngest, but almost. Yet 3 angels met him, and as it is written, and a certain man found him. And the man asked him, and the man said, then how much the more this one, Yaakov, was the father of them all. Before him, this means to this man, before him, this means to his man, Esav, whose time had come to take sovereignty before him. And this is Esav, symbolizing the Gentile who will power before Yaakov, who would enjoy sovereignty only at the end. So Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said, Yaakov disrobed himself of the purple. What is symbolizing purple? What's the color purple? Okay, I'm gonna say something here. It's gonna sound stupid, I know, but maybe it's gonna make sense. And we look in the world, we see the color purple in very interesting places. Grapes have sometimes the color purple, or an association with purple, or the grape juice that we see, whether it is natural or artificial, diluted, whatsoever, right? And certain vegetables, they're purple. Interesting. Do you know what's also purple? The cloak of the Queen Elizabeth that passed. I believe she's Jewish, so she would say Ahava Shalom, right? So the thing is, like, we have here the thing that the color purple is not so widespread when it comes to fabric. Why? Fabric goes through the process of dyeing. You need to dye the color. So until I think 1840 or something like that, it was not very easy to make purple, and therefore not very cheap. And if we look in the world at all the nations, how many nations do have a flag that contains the color purple? Well, go find it out for yourself. It simply does not appear, and the reason why is because it was so expensive to create it that this was only subject to kings and queens, to royalty. So there was no country that could claim this color, which is connected to the ideal and concept of royalty, which is a combination of blue and red, which is purple. It was literally too expensive to mass create flags, because if you have a purple flag, you want to have this purple flag everywhere. You don't just want to have it in your own country. You want to have it on ships and army banners or whatever. Purple is very, very expensive. So maybe the king might have his own banner, but the soldiers couldn't afford it, or the kingdom couldn't afford it, nor for the soldiers to have such a color. So therefore, it is subject to royal garments. And that's what it says here. What it says here is that the purple is symbolizing royalty in the commentary. That's a lot of explanation over the one verse. But then here it says, he, Yaakov, disrobed himself of the purple. Royalty. Kavod. That's really a lot of kavod. And also in certain Kabbalistic traditions, purple is subject to the midah of Yesod. So, and he threw it down before him, Esav, thus intimating 2 flocks of starlings. And this alludes to the commentary section again. Albeck renders 2 wrestlers. So Two flocks of starlings cannot sleep on one board. That's what it says here. What does that mean? Again, on one board, they could not both rule simultaneously. And now the matter comes back. So we want to recap with one thing. And before we do so, I want to take a little break really quick for some coffee. Okay, very excellent. So before we go back to the fact that they cannot rule simultaneously, cannot sleep on one board, there is a specific matter that I want to expose here. When we go to previous parasha, we have here the thing. We have here a matter that is displayed in Toldot. Right here. So let's mark this for, install this for a brief while, because it's very unlikely I'm gonna make a video about it anytime soon. But if in case I do, we might discuss about it a little bit further. But I want to recap on something here. This is gonna be really funny. This is gonna be really funny. Okay. If we read the Peshat, it is really funny, but what about the Midrash? That's when it gets juicy and fun, right? So, let me see. Yeah, because this is the root of the matter. And the Lord said unto her, two nations, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yohanan, in the name of Rabbi Eliezer ben Rabbi Shimon, said, the other one, blessed be he, never engaged in speech with a woman, save with that righteous woman, Sarah, that too was due to a special cause. And what a roundabout manner. He sought in order to speak with her, as it is written, and he said, nay, but do this love. And it's written, and she, Hagar, called the name of the Lord that spoke unto her. And Joshua ben Rabbi Nehemiah answered in Rabbi Edi's name that was through an angel. But it is written, and the Lord said unto her, Rebekah, Rabbi Levi said in the name of Rabbi Chama ben Rabbi Hanina, that was through an angel. So, that was through the medium of Shem. So, two nations are in thy womb. There are two proud nations in thy womb. And here the word goyim is used. This word is carrying a lot of burden. I cannot stress the relevance thereof enough. It's really not funny. It's really not funny how much burden that word causes and misunderstanding, because it means nations. So, and it is actually written Geyim. So, Gimu Aleph Yud Mem, which means proud ones. And there's another translation from which we can abstract that is, in this context, two rulers of nations. Okay? So instead of the absence of a vav, now it is an aleph. So if we go back to the text, there are two brown nations in thy womb, each taking pride in the world, and each in his kingdom. There are two rulers of nations in thy womb, Hadrian of the Gentiles and Solomon of Israel. Another interpretation is two peoples hated by the nations are in thy womb. All heathens hate Esav, and all heathens hate Israel. This is in a certain sense true, because you have pagans that don't like Christianity that is associated with Esav. You know, you have all kinds of pagan traditions, polytheism or just atheism. It doesn't really matter here. What we don't want to do too much is that we don't want to fix Christianity too much to Esav. Yet also the thing is here we want to be very careful also. Yeah, we want to be very careful here. But we can also see that there's atheism, right? So there's a lot of things here. We'll discuss the topic of idolatry in another session wherein I come across it during study, and that will be very interesting. So here we have next. The fact that all the heathens, the word not pagan but heathens, hate Esau, and all the heathens hate Israel. The hatred of thy creator is in thy womb, as it is written. But Esau I hated, as it's been written in Malachi, right? So, and two peoples shall be separated from thy bowels. Woo! This shows that he, Yaakov, was born circumcised. There you have it. Bam! Brit Milah. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. So Rabbi Helbo said, in name of the school of Rabbi Shila, here to once might speak of Sabteka and Ra'ama, but from thee shall arise Jews and Armenians. With in brackets, it's also saying Romans. The funny thing is that the word Arabic does not appear. I don't see the word Arabi. I do see the word Ishmael. But do you know what word appears? Army. As in Armenian, right? Arameans. And it is written here, and that is connecting two Parishatot in a certain manner with each other. If we look at that, not maybe on the Peshat level, but it is irrelevant because I'm just doing a recapture and I'm taking the Midrash for this. The elder shall serve the younger, it is written, Ibit. So, if Yaakov is deserving, he Esau shall serve him. If not, he Esau shall enslave him, it's written. And that's the more so explained where we started, right? That Edom, Rome, can be like to a whip. So, can we abstract from that the wicked punishes the righteous? A lot of rabbis say that those crazy events are happening because we need to do kiruv. We need to strengthen ourselves and be on the derech, right? We don't want to be rishaim, we want to be tzaddikim. And when our days be delivered were fulfilled, in the case further on, the period was abridged, whereas here it was complete. Below, Teomim, which is twins, written fully with a vav for Perez and Zerah. What is it written in the commentaries? The two twins to whom Tamar gave birth. Oh, yes. So we're both righteous, whereas here it is written defectively without a vav, because of Yaakov and Esav, one was righteous while the other was wicked. So the text the text here has been adopted here. This is obscure and apparently omits the first comment on the fullness of the period. Okay. Let us read it again. Because of Yaakov and Esav, one was righteous while the other was wicked. Well, don't read too much. I'm not gonna spill the beans completely here, but I'm gonna spoil something about it. Is a lot written in Zohar. It's very interesting. So, and the first came forth Rudy. What does that mean? Right? So, Rabbi Haggai said in Rabbi Yitzchak's name, as a reward for obedience to my command, and ye shall take you on the first day, Vego, I will reveal unto you the first and avenge you on the first. Will rebuild the first and bring you the first. I will reveal unto you the first, as it says, I am the first and I am the last, which is misquoted and misunderstood a lot, but in a certain sense it is understood right, correctly in a certain sense, but yeah, it's very, very difficult. So, but this is from Isaiah, and when people want to weaponize, like what I stated earlier, when I want to make claims or Jewish texts, they might come with that text and ask you what that means. Well, I am the first and I am the last, and avenge you on the first. Esav, of whom it is written, and first came forth, and will rebuild you for the first. The temple of which it is written, do throne of glory on high from the first. Do place of our sanctuary, which is written in Jeremiah, and I will bring you the first, which is the royal Mashiach. Maybe we could say here Melech HaMashiach. On whom it is written, a harbinger. This is literally first. Unto Zion, which is a nice reference again to the name of this channel. Unto Zion will I give, behold them. And unto Yerushalayim, and maybe behold here, I don't know if the word hine is the root that originally has been used here in Hebrew, but it is stated twice. Behold, behold. Those who know. And first came forth Rudy. Another comment, why did Esav come first? So that he might issue an odd offensive matter with him. So it says, like the bait attendant who first scores the bait and then washes the king's son. So also did Esau issue the first, so that he might come out together with the offensive manner. A matron asked, why did Esau issue first? Because the first drop of Yaakov's. He answered her, for consider if you place 2 diamonds in a tube, does not the first one put in first come out last? So also the first drop was that which formed Yaakov. So now we have a debate on who is the first and what was stated here about and avenge you on the first. Like that whole thing about the first. So the first rope which formed Yaakov and Rudy here, Rabbi Abba and Bar Kahana said altogether a shredder of blood. So Rudy saluting, according to him, altogether a shredder of blood. And when Samuel saw that David was Rudy, as it has been written, and he sent and brought him in, now he was Rudy. He was smitten with fear, thinking he too might be a murderer. But the Holy One, blessed be He, reassured him that he was with all of beautiful eyes. Beautiful eyes. Which meant Yaakov slew his own impulse, whereas he, David, would slay only on the sentence of the court. So Yaakov slew by its own impulse. Can we say here like a Yetzer Hara, Yetzer Tov kind of thing? And David would slay on the sentence of the court. As in Mishpat, the attribute of Mishpat here. The emperor Diocletian was originally a swineherd near Tiberias. Wherever he came near a school, children would come out and beat him. Later he became emperor and went and stayed at Pineas, and he sent letters to Tiberias just before the eve of the Shabbat with the order on Sunday morning. I command the rabbis of the Jews to appear before me on Sunday morning. He further instructed the messenger not to give them the message until just before Friday evening, Erev Shabbat. So when Rav Shemuel ben Nachman went down to Beit, he saw Rabbi standing before his academy with his face all pale. Oh, something happened there. Wow. On inquiring why he was pale, why was he so pale, he told him of the letter sent him by the emperor, go and bathe. He told him, go and bathe, for God will perform a miracle for you. So he went to bathe, and there was a sprite. What does sprite mean here? Rendering conjectural. I don't know the English word context here. So there was a bait sprite, and it came jesting and dancing towards them. Rabbi wished to scold him, but Rabbi Shmuel Naaman said to him, leave him alone, for sometimes he is coming and wrought a miracle. So when he's coming, he wrought a miracle. That's interesting. I want to understand the context a little better, so I'm going to translate this word for myself, or look up the context for rendering conjectural. What does that mean? Rendering conjectural definition. Oh, yes. Okay. Like some kind of spirit or being, deity. Let's see. So the bait sprite came, jesting and dancing towards him. Rabbi wished to scold him, but Rabbi Shemuel ben Nachman said to him, leave him alone, for sometimes he is coming and wrought a miracle. Your master is in distress, yet you frolic. He rebuked him, go home, eat and keep the Shabbat with good cheer. For your Creator will perform a miracle for you, and I will set you Sunday morning where you desire. And the funny thing is that I just looked up the words for sprite, and I looked something. I see like things like computer sprites that people use for frame-to-frame animations. two-dimensional images that are being used in order to make an animation or a bigger picture. And I'm having here like a sticker that I used for bookmarker on the page where it is being written about this price. So do you see how sometimes very interesting things happen? Because the thing is like this sticker. So I didn't know the definition of this phenomena, but I'm going to save the sticker in between the page. Because it is like a cute little thing with... It looks like some kind of innocent looking demon that is whistling and looks very cute, like anime kind of style. It's very easy, very plain, like chibi kind of style. But the thing is like it's super cute and it is a sticker. It's two-dimensional. It's between the pages. Do you see the connection? Do you see how that manifests itself in reality, even if you don't understand it? See the importance and relevance? This is amazing. It really is. Baruch Hashem. Like it's in small little things. Like even though it looks like a miracle, do we call it a miracle? I don't know. I regard it as a certain miracle, but there is certain things, definitions about what really is a miracle and what is not, according to Talmud. So, for your Creator will perform a miracle for you, and I will set you Sunday morning where you desire. Oh, yeah. At the termination of the Shabbat, after the service, he, the sprite, took them and set them before the gates of Paneas. He, the emperor, was informed, lo, they are standing before the gates. Then let the gates be closed, he ordered. Thereupon, he, the demon, now something is being referred to as demon. This is really funny. Therefore, he, upon the demon, took them and set them on the rampart of the town. And before you're gonna think like this demon looking cute little sticker, it is a really cute looking sticker though. It's meant for children or little girls or something, or girls that like cute things. For some reason it was sent to me as a gift while I ordered something from internet, right? So it's really funny. So some drawing tools or something and came along with it. So now it's referring to it as demon. So the demon took them, set them on the rampart of the town. On being apprised of this, the Clothian exclaimed, I command that the baits be heated for 3 days. Then let them go and bait therein, and then appear before me. The baits accordingly were heated for 3 days, but the sprite went and tempered the heat for them. After which they entered, bathed, and appeared before him, because you know that your God performs miracles on your behalf. Because you know that your God performs miracles on your behalf, you insult the emperor. He upbraided them. The Clothian, the swineherd, we did indeed insult. Yeah, swineherd. But the Clothian, the emperor, we were loyal subjects. They answered, even so. He replied, you must not insult the humblest Roman or the meanest soldier. Oops, I take back my words then. I'm joking around. I hope like I squeeze out a little laugh here. And then it takes the word here. All over kulo like a hairy mantle. Rabbi Yanina ben Yitzchak said, every one of his descendants is liable for a mantle, a toga. The rabbis of the south in Rabbi Alexandri's name and Rachaba in the name of Rabbi Abba ben Kahana said he came out destined to be altogether scattered like the calf in the threshing floor. As is written, then was the iron broken in pieces. Yeah, like I'm from the Netherlands, and in Dutch we say you cannot break iron with hands. Breaking iron with hands. That's what I believe. But it is a statement of breaking iron with hands. what here it's written, right? So broken in pieces altogether, and it became like the calf of the summer threshing floors. Here I want to read the commentary over, because the thing is like there's very interesting translation for this threshing floor and other things here, and the word toga, whole thing. So here it says that every Roman, which is Esau's descendant, no matter how humble, might attain the royal mantle. As in the case of the Claudian, he translates kulo, the whole of Esau, the entire Roman nation, aderet. Here, aderet is a mantle. Aderet, mantle, is connected to the word idra. This makes me think about the word like Midrash Rabah or something, right? So idra, a threshing floor, while se'ar, shin ayin reish, is read as sa'ar, samech ayin reish, a whirlwind which scatters the calf, as we read in the very first Tehillim, right? That the Ruach plays with them. And I talked about the whirlwind. That's what's going on in the world. We see a trend of people chasing the wind, right? But also that they have the illusion that they are chasing the wind while they are being pushed around by the wind. And we see an allusion to what the wind does in that particular Tehillim, because like the calf of the summer threshing floors, boom, right there. It's right there in our faces. The calf is being separated, but also it's being played with by the wind, by Ruach. And we know Ruach can also be understood as spirit. So, Baruch Hashem, this is very excellent. This is very, very profound. So, the mantle is connected with Idra, a threshing floor like Sa'ar, right? But Sa'ar, not Se'ar, but Sa'ar is a whirlwind which scatters the calf. So they are the excellent ones. And the word excellent here is adire. Adir. In whom is all my delight. Others refer that alludes to noble ones, to the 10 rabbis that were martyred by Rome. We read about it in Talmud. I think in Masechet Sanhedrin we can read about it, all the horrible things that they did. And then there's multiple places. Oh man, if you know how Rabbi Akiva came to his end, that's horrible. So this comment 2 is a play on Aderet and Idre, now collected with Adir, strong and distinguished. And they call the name Isaf. It is now not. So we need to understand this. So not. What is the word for not? Shal. It's for not. Shal. So not Isaf, but shal. Then it is for not, for shal, that I created him in my universe. This is a play on the word Isaf, Ayin Shin Vav, connected with shal, which is Shin Vav Aleph. And Hebrew is the only language in where I see this happen, that people will swap around letters. You cannot do this with English, right? English, which is very much the main language of Edom, right? We also don't do this with Latin. We do this with groups of letters, but we don't do this. We cannot permute the letters like that, because we don't count with those letters, and those letters don't hold the same principalities, but we can derive a principality from it. But this is subject to the ancient world and not to the modern world in that matter, only in mathematics. So it is for naught that I created him in my universe. Rabbi Yitzchak said, God declared, ye have given a name to your swine. Esau. Then I too will name my firstborn, as it says. Sorry, Christians, if there is any that listen to this. So, as it says, thus said the Lord, Israel is my son, my firstborn. Exodus 4:22. So this is not the prophets It's not the Nevi'im, it's not the Ketuvim. This is HaTorah. This is from the book of Exodus, from Shemot. Israel is my son, my firstborn. So how then do you want to make a claim on that position? So that text cannot be understood really. You can only profane it more, while the ones that follow the gospel and they're calling it a New Testament, they disconnect it even more from its origins. Why so? Because the early church apparently recognized the oral law, and a lot of Christians, they don't believe in the oral law. And if you go look it up yourself, you will find a lot of parables, and they think it's poetic and things like that. But the thing is, like, if you have here a bold statement that you cannot do away with, that Israel is the firstborn, here a statement, how do you wanna reconcile with that? You can only, like, it's very, very, very difficult, like, because it is written here. And after that came forth his brother. Oh, if I look. And after that came forth his brother. A Roman, perfect asked a member of the family of Salu, who will enjoy power after us? In reply, he brought a blank piece of paper, took a quill, and wrote upon it. And after that came forth his brother, and his hand had hold on Esau's heel. So upon the comment was the comment was made. See how ancient. This is what I referred to at the beginning when I started recording this video, right? So upon this comment was made, see how ancient words become new in the mouth of a sage. That's why, I'm not going to refer to myself as a sage. I'm just not going to do that. But the thing is, if you are a student, if you're a Talmid, what do? You study not a matter one time, but 100 times if possible, right? So probably the ancient words are given a modern interpretation. Did I or didn't I? Well, I think I did. I hope so. So moreover, it teaches how much suffering was endured by a righteous man. So Yaakov, who immediately a bird sought to grasp Esau's heel, a calf, so as to symbolize the eventual victory of his descendants. The suffering may have been an account of the knowledge of the great length of time his descendants would suffer before victory was gained. Ooh, yeah. Moreover, it teaches how much suffering was endured by the righteous man. Yeah, indeed. So the boys grew. And Rabbi Pinchas said in Rabbi Levi's name, they were like a myrtle and a wild rose bush, growing side by side. And here the word rose is ancient. Then they attained to maturity. One yielded its fragrance and the other its thorns. So for 13 years both went to school and came home from school. After this age, one went to the house of study and the other to idolatrous shrines. Rabbi Eliezer ben Rabbi Shimon said a man is responsible for his son until the age of 13. Why is this so? Well, the commentary says here to have him educated in the Torah, but I know it has been said by many parties that when men are 13, they are bar mitzvah, right? And according to some teachings, that's the age when the Yetzer Hara enters, or the age that the man is accountable for his Yetzer Hara, or when the Yetzer Hara really starts to take dominance. But there is something here going on with the Yetzer Hara, and there is something here with the obligation. Now you are obligated to be and responsible for your own actions in relationship with Hashem. So therefore, the sins are no longer in account for the parent. So thereafter, he must say, "Blessed is he who has freed me from the responsibility of this boy." Wow. And Esav was a cunning hunter. He ensnared people by his words. It says this here. And if we see it in that what people call prophecy, if we see it in the New Testament also, right? In a certain sense, maybe it has not been written down for that intention though, because Yeshu, which is Esav with a youth in front of it, Yeshu HaNazri, was, according to some sources, a student of Mishnah, right? However, the thing is here, because he was Jewish, right? He was Jewish, he was from Nazareth. And like, if you don't know the history about where the Bible took place, now you know, I hope. So the thing is, that makes the thing different, because Christians were not Christians back that time. Christianity did not exist. That was the beginning of a schism. Of ma'asit, actually, of enticement, according to the Pharisees, and from their account, right? So, actually, in that time, Christianity was being seen as revelation and separation, and the whole thing. Yeah, let's not delve too far in that. But the thing is, he was a cunning hunter. We know something about hunter and neder, right? And there is something with the connection of neder and number 13. So numerology in a certain system, I came across it a while ago, years ago, I think in 2020, that 13 can be likened also to revelation. So what do you see when the Yetzer Hara really becomes dominant? That's when little boys start to rebel against their parents and form their own identity and wish not to be associated with their parents. That's a progression in maturity. Is it a good progression? Well, ask yourself. But also the whole thing with 12 apostles and a Yeshu, right? That's 13. That number's 13. Right? So but also 13 is echad, so it is not entirely negative. There's 13, there's 12 tribes, and there's Yaakov, right? So 13 also is the gematria value of ahava, so oneness and love here. And when you take that together, what do we get? Exactly. So so it's not super clouded here. It is a foreign source that I bring in here, because I don't know how much this relates to Torah though, but it is an interesting thought. So the thing is here, yet a man is responsible for his son until the age of 13. Therefore he must say, "Blessed is he who now freed me from the responsibility of this boy." And Esav was a cunning hunter. And we know the connection between Esav and the connection between neder, right? A lot of Christians are afraid for the word neder, but here we have a Torah connection with neder. There's a lot of mystical things that have different orientations and origins, and it's a little bit foreign. But we want to take it also a little bit to actuality, to what they believe, right? But what we believe here is that the hunter is being mentioned here as his profession. And a lot of things happened here in Torah in regards to hunting, right? Yeah, I don't want to do an entire recap, but just think about it, right? It's very interesting. He ensnared people by their words. The statement that is following after that says, "You did not steal. Tell me, who was your accomplice? You did not murder. Who was your accessory?" So here in commentary 1 it says hunter, or literally a trapper or snarer. So, you did not murder. Who was your accessory? Rabbi Rabah said he was a trapper, a field man, trapping, deceiving at home, and trapping in the fields, trapping at home by asking, "How do you teeth salt?" In the field by asking, "How do you teeth straw?" So he got into Isaac's good graces by a hypocrite pretense of piety. Oh, this sounds very pious, right? Okay. Wow. Maybe some things seem really, really bad, but are good after all. That's what certain people say, right? So, then it says here, Rabbi Chaya ben Abba said, he made himself free to all like a field. And the commentary about that statement says he was very promiscuous. How can both things be true? I ask you. It's very interesting. Because now we are going through an account. And this is from Toldot. We are still busy with some kind of recap here, right? And when I'm looking at time, it's already 1 hour and 23, 24. Oh man, it's a lot of time. I hope you have the patience to go through it. So Israel cried out before God, sovereign of the universe, "Is it not enough that we have been subject to the 70 nations? Indeed, but must be subject to this one too," which is Isav, meaning Rome, "who is immorally abused like women." Yeah, okay. So this is another proof point. Like, this is, some people think that the Jewish people are not the real Jewish people, or have been replaced, or stealing identity, or whatsoever. But they have an on-point account of history. You can read it in the Talmud. You can read it in the Mishnah. You can read it everywhere. Because the commentary about abuse like woman, well, think about what it means. Because the commentary says something interesting. It's not meant for underage ears, but though, like, it can be very rebuking though. An allusion to sodomy practiced so often by the Romans. Sodomizing. This is what a lot of animals do. And the thing is, like, I don't want to give a biology class and a psychology class, but this is a form of violence in a certain sense. Certain sense, some people treat it like intimacy, but it's also in jail. You can see that it is some kind of violence to decide who really is the leader, who is the alpha, who is the beta, right? And the fact that it is Greek, the neighbor country of Rome, this says enough, right? About origins and things. Okay, let's start that there. So Israel cried out before himself, free to all like a field. It's all cried out before God, sovereign of the universe. It's not enough that we have be subject to the 70 nations, which has the same value as Gog or Magog, but must be subject to this one too, which is Esau, who is immorally abused like women. The Holy One, blessed be He, answered them. Therefore will I too punish him with those very words, as it says. Ouch. And the heart of the mighty man of Edom at the day shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. This is from Yirmiyahu. From in her pangs. What does that mean? Probably since they have used men like women, their men will become like women, which we see. We see it in many things. We see this. Not back then only, right? But now the things are coming out, like things like I don't want to shed light on homosexuality because this has been a big debate on biblical narrative and gender, sexual preference, sexual preference thing. But the thing is, like, that does not determine your qualities as a man unless you identify with a certain gender, right? And that kind of stuff is an ongoing kind of thing right now. Uniting under a rainbow flag, which first was a rainbow flag, which was not a representative flag, but however does contain the color purple though. It's is a flag that has been to unite LGBT. I don't want to be completely politically correct. There is a biblical narrative. I have to agree also either legally with the Torah. But the thing is, there is a difference between LGBT and there's a difference between homosexuality, because those things are general and specific. But if we analyze the flag was already a road opening thing here. Because we see queers for Palestine, and if we think about the most up-to-date queer flag, what does it look like? Very closely related to the Palestinian flag. So what's going on here? A red rectangle, triangle. It looks like it. And I want to be very careful with those words, because before you know it, people will say like, oh look, it's a psyop, but it is not. It's not. It has to do indeed with subconsciousness, but it also has to do with ideals and things like that contradict each other. You can reconcile about this with logic and facts, and they claim to do it, but they don't. Why? Because they are heretics. They deny the Bible, even if they approve of its very words. So when we return this back to what it says in Midrash Rabah, Midrash Rabah, it says here, their men will be made like women, and that does not only apply to LGBT and the whole addition to it, but also to nutrition. I've seen on social media accounts that there's men that notice that it is difficult. They asked whether anyone else had noticed that male are becoming more feminine and women are becoming more masculine. There again. Another pattern. That better reveals something. I thought I heard something in the house. Very disturbing. The pattern reveals itself, right? What does the pattern reveal? That's what we want to know, right? So I see something where the whirlwind. So the Holy One, blessed be He, answered them, therefore will I too punish him with those very words. And it says, at the heart of the mighty man of Edom, at that day shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Okay. Can we relate this with the birth pains of Mashiach? I don't know. And Yaakov was a quiet man, dwelling in tents. So there is now a difference. So now we zoom out and we return back to the Peshat, and the Peshat says Yaakov was a quiet man, dwelling in tents. Dot. So in two tents, because it's a stance, right? That's plurality. In two tents. Where? In the Academy of Shem and in the Academy of Eber. Ooh. That's nice. Now Yitzhak loved Esav because he did eat of his venison. Choice meat and choice wine was reserved for his mouth, for the mouth of Yitzhak. And Rivka loved Yaakov. Oh, so we have a favorite child situation here. Such a dilemma. And indeed, such a dilemma here. And here, if there is any women watching, like, this is very interesting. We should not favor children, but the thing is, like, this reveals like a hidden strength of women. Because was it not so? It has been written, right? Like, has been written. Rebecca loved Yaakov. The more she heard his voice, engaged in study, the stronger grew her love for him. And then we see probably since... it says here, the love for him. This comment is based on the use of the present part. She loves. Her love progressively growing. So it was growing progressively. Amazing. So she loved the fact that he was engaged with study. And Jacob sought pottage. What is the purpose of this pottage? Esav asked him, I made it because of that old man, between brackets, Abraham, has died. He replied, judgment has overtaken that righteous man, exclaimed he. Then there is neither reward nor resurrection. That's what, oh man. But lo, the Holy Spirit cries out. And then it quotes, weep ye not for the dead, neither bemoan him. Weep ye not for the dead applies to Abraham. But weep sore for him and goeth to Esav. Yeah. And then there's commentary here on whom it says, behold, I am going at the point to die. That's what it says here in Genesis, right? So, and Esau came in from the field, etc. Rabbi Binah said in Rabbi Levi's name and the rabbis in Rabbi Shimon's name, you find that Abraham lived 175 years, Isaac 180. God withheld these 5 years from Abraham's life because Esau outraged a betrothed maiden and committed murder. Thus it says, and Esau came in from the field, which means that he violated a betrothed maiden, as it says. But if the man find the damsel that is betrothed in the field, and the man take hold of her and lay with her, and he was faint signifies that he committed murder, as in the verse, for my soul fainted before the murderers. Rabbi Beregia and Rabbi Zakkai the elder said, he also committed theft, as you read, if thieves come to steal, if robbers should they by night, as written in Obadiah. So said the Holy One, blessed be he, I made a promise to Abraham, assuring him, thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. Is this a good old age when he sees his grandson practicing idolatry, immorality, and murder? Better that he quits this world in peace, as it is written, for thy loving kindness is better than life. Wow. And this is written in Psalms. And somewhere else, in Midrash Rabah, there is something written about grandchildren. I don't know if I can find it, because I want to not miss. I want to revert to it in a correct manner, right? Here, yes, at the beginning of Toldot. These are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. It is written, the father of righteous will greatly rejoice. There is rejoicing when the righteous is born, but when the wicked is born, there is woe, as it says, and it came to pass, why he in the days of Ahaz, whereon Rabbi Yehoshua commented, the ministering angels exclaimed before the Holy One, blessed be he, sovereign of the universe, woe. And it says here, why? It says, why that Ahaz reigns. Said he to them, that I am the son of Yotam, and since the father was righteous, I cannot do anything to him, and that begetteth a wise child will have the joy of him. Rav Hona said in Rav Achaz's name, how do we know that one who has a son who toils in the study of Torah is filled with compassion of him? Because it says, my son, if thy heart be wise, my heart will be glad, mine too. And Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh said, I know this only of his earthly father. How do we know that even the Holy One, blessed be he, is filled with compassion for him when he toils in the study of Torah? Because it says, my heart will be glad too, mine too. Indeed. And this is understood to revert to God. And there is double rejoicing in the case of a righteous one who is the son of a righteous one. Hence it says, and these are the generations of Yitzchak, Abraham's son. Right? So here, the commentary says, he was Abraham's son in the full sense, being righteous like him. And then we go next to the second verse of Toldot. And the children are the crown of old men, etc. This is from Proverbs, though. So fathers are a crown of their sons, and the crown of their fathers. Fathers are crowned to their sons, as it says, and the glory of children are their fathers. Sons are a crown to their fathers, for it says, children's children are the crown of old men. Rabbi Hona and Rabbi Yeremiah, in the name of Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yitzchak said, Abraham was saved from the fiery furnace only for Yaakov's sake. This may be compared to a man who was on trial before the governor and was sentenced to him to be burned. But the governor, foreseeing by means of astrology that he was destined to beget a daughter, who would marry the king, said, he is worthy of being saved for the sake of the daughter. In like manner, the Holy One, blessed be He, declared Abraham is worthy of being saved through Yaakov's merit. Hence it is written, therefore said the Lord concerning the house of Yaakov who redeemed Abraham. This Yaakov redeemed Abraham. Another illustration of children's children are the crown of old men. In our text, now these are the generations of Yitzchak and Abraham's son. Right? And now we go back because we are in 12. So, but weep sore for him that goes to Esau. Yes, indeed. And Esau came in from the field. Oh, he's coming. So this is number 12. Rabbi Vinah said in the name of Rabbi Levi and the rabbis in Rabbi Shimon's name, you find that Abraham lived 125 years. Interesting. Yitzchak 180. God would hold those 5 years from Abraham's life because Esau arranged a betrothed. From this 5 years from his life because Esau attracted a betrothed maiden and committed murder. Oh. So 5 years were withheld from Abraham's life. Thus it says, and Esau came in from the field, which means that he violated a betrothed maiden, as it says. But if the man finds the damsel that is betrothed in the field, and the man take hold of her and lay with her, Deuteronomy 22:25, while and he was faint, signifies he committed murder, as it is in the verse, for my soul fainted before the murderers. So Jeremiah, Rabbi Berechiah, and Rabbi Zakkai, the elders said, he also committed theft, as you read, if thieves came to thee, if robbers should die by night, right? That's how that usually happens. This is a play on the word sadeh, which is field, which is now connected with by shodeh, which is robbers, or probably because came is used in both verses. So while he was vain, signifies to commit murder, and in the verse, for my soul fainted before the murderers. Rabbi Berechiah and Rabbi Zakkai, the elders, said, he also committed theft, as is written, if thieves came to thee, if robbers came by night. So said the Holy One, blessed be He, I made a promise to Abraham, assuring him, but thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. And that's why we went all the way back to understand this matter. Is this a good old age when he sees his grandson practicing idolatry, immorality, and murder? Better that he quits this world in peace, and hence is written, for the loving kindness is better than life. And Esau said to Yaakov, let me swallow. And let me swallow here is haletni. The wicked man opened his mouth wide like a camel's and declared, I open my mouth, and do you go on pouring in haletni, bearing the same meaning as when we learned you must not stuff a camel, nor force food upon it. May you put your foot in its mouth. But let him. So Esau said to Yaakov, let me swallow. Swallow what? Some of this red pottage. Rabbi Yosef and Reish Lachish explains this. Rabbi Yohanan said he demanded both his and his patrons. Reish Lachish said he demanded both his and that of those like him. So the passage is extremely obscure, and commenters differ widely, the translation adopted is that of Rashi's. So, and it says here, Reish Lakish says, he demanded about his and that of those like him. He was red, his food red, and his land red. His warriors were red, his garments were red, his avenger will be red, red in the clad. Yeah, so it says here, the translation is adopted by Rashi. Both rabbis saw in the first a symbolical allusion to the future, a text, and demands that Esau, the Gentile, in general would bake upon Yaakov, this interpretation being strengthened by the repetition of red. Rabbi Yohanan makes it refer to the Havok rotting among the Jews themselves. His and the destruction of the houses of God, the tabernacle of Shiloah, and the two temples. His patrons. Reish Lakish regards it to an intimation that he would inflict hurt upon himself, Yaakov, and upon his descendants, and that of those like him. Red is symbolic of war. Esau, Rome, typified the spirit of war, and the spirit of war would eventually destroy them. I'm gonna pause the recording for a while. Yes. So yes, if we return here, what else does it say here? Because we read some commentary. So he was red is the first shall come forth ruddy, right? And his food was red. Let me swallow. I pray thee some of this red pottage. His country is red. To Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the field of red. So the land of Seir is the field of red. Redness. And this is Edom. His warriors are red. The shield of his mighty men is made of red. Not purple, not blue, red. And this is from Nahum, right? Nahum 2:4. Their garments are red. The valiant men are in scarlet. His avenger will be red. My beloved is white and ruddy, as in Shir Hashirim 5:10. Clad in red. Wherefore is thine apparel red? Isaiah. Right? Oh man. And Yaakov said, sell me today. So this is in 25:31 of Bereshit. Sell me 1 day of yours. So he demanded. Rabbi Aha commanded, whoever is able to calculate the period of dispersion will find that but 1 day did Jacob dwell in peace under the shadow of Esau. Why so? Commentary says the first is translated as symbolically alluding to Israel in the diaspora, with Yaakov meaning sell me. So, sell me yours. Leave me in peace, if only for a short while. And Rabbi Acha observes that indeed has been the case. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, which we just read, right? It was in the commentary. So Reish Lakish said he began to revile and blaspheme. Oh! Is it not written, what is the birthright? That's what he said. What is the birthright? He said, what is this to me? What is this to me? And the word this here is zeh. to be more specific. And the funny thing is that the Zayin and Hey here, well, Zayin is 7 and Hey is 5. Do the calculation yourself. This teaches that he denied him of whom it is written, "This is my God." Zeh. It says here, Zeh Eli. Behold, I am at the point to die. That's what you said. Another interpretation is that Nimrod, what? Here, look. That's what he said, like, right? Nimrod. Another interpretation is that Nimrod was seeking to slay him on account of the garment which had belonged to Adam. Ooh. And which Esau now possessed. For whenever he put it on and went out into the field, all the beasts and birds in the world would come and flock around him. And Yaakov said, "Swear to me." Yeah. Why did Yaakov display such eagerness for the birthright? Because we learned before the tabernacle was erected, the high places were permitted and the sacrificial service was performed by firstborn. After it was erected, the high places were forbidden and the sacrificial service was performed by priests. Said Yaakov, "Shall this wicked man stand and offer the sacrifices?" Therefore he strove so ardently to obtain the birthright. Thus it is written, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Surely thou hast hated blood, therefore shall blood pursue thee. Then Esau hate blood? So a sacrifice was not centralized, but might be offered at altars privately erected. Right? And here, the reference is to Seir here. So I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Surely thou hast hated blood, therefore shall blood pursue thee. And this is written in Ezekiel, right? 35:6. Did then Esau hate blood? On the contrary, he revels in it. Yeah, now the bloodshed of Rome, right? So Rabbi Levi said in the name of Rav Hama bar Rabbi Hanina, it refers to the blood of circumcision. Rabbi Levi said in the name of Rabbi Shemuel, Rabbi Nachman, it means to the blood of sacrifices sprinkled by the firstborn. So as we can see here, there's multiple opinions. The rabbis interpreted, it was hated the blood of man whilst it is in his body, and hence his lust to shed it. And thus it is written, he loved cursing, and came unto him, and he delighted not in blessing. Rabbi Levi said in Rabbi Hanina's name, he delighted not in the birthright. And then the commentary says here, reading Bechorah, which is the birthright. For Bechorah also alludes to blessing. So he delighted not in blessing, as been written in Sefer Tehillim. So he delighted not in the birthright. So Rabbi Huna said it refers to the blood of sacrifices, which is called a blessing, as in the verse, an altar of earth shall thou make unto me. I will come unto thee and bless thee. 20:21. And Yaakov gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils. So since we are catching up with the whole thing that went through and how it happened, right? How it happened, we can go on. We are almost done with this. a lentil is a wheel. So lentil is wheel shaped. So is the mouth of a wheel. So is the world like a wheel. Sorry, a lentil is wheel shaped. So is the world like a wheel. But so mourning rolls from person to person. Yeah, as a lentil has no mouth opening, so a mourner has no mouth, because that's no split. So a mourner has no mouth, for a mourner does not speak. Lentils are given to a mourner. He must not speak on ordinary topics. Yes, indeed. As a lentil symbolizes mourning, yet also joy. What does this mean? Rashi quoting the Tanakh states that, Rashi quoting and then says T-A-N. I don't know what this is the code of, but it states that lentils were given, so they were eaten and banquets too, possibly to remind one of that. So a lentil symbolizes mourning, yet also joy. So here too there was mourning because of Abraham's death, and joy because Yaakov received the Bechorah, the birthright. And he did eat and drink. He brought in with a company of ruffians who said, "We will eat his dishes and mock at him," while the Holy Spirit exclaimed, "They prepare the table." They said a festive word. They light the lamps. And the word for lamps here is tzafith. So they arranged the lamp. In some places a lamp is called tzafita. So rise up, ye princes, So rise up, ye princes. This means Michael and Gavrikel. Anoint the shield. Make a record that the birthright belongs to Yaakov. Anoint the shield. Strengthen him by recording his rights. Right? Bar Chapora thought, and this was because they made sport of him. And how do we know that the Holy One, blessed be He, great with them? Because it says, "Thus said the Lord, Israel's my son, my firstborn." And rose up and went. Rabbi Levi said, his world went out with him. By selling the birthright to Yaakov, he transferred to the latter the future world, while he retained the present. Now this present world went out with him, Yaakov being the left with the hereafter, but no enjoyment of this world. He went out from this world, meaning that he lost his hereafter. So that's why it says, and rose up and went. And Rabbi Levi said, his world went out with him. So Yaakov despised, and then it says Aleph Tav, his birthright. Sorry, Esau. And Esau despised, I hope I said Esau. So, and Esau despised Aleph Tav, his birthright. Et is mentioned here. What did he despise with it? So said Rabbi Levi, he despised, meaning rejected belief in resurrection. Thus it is written, when the wicked cometh, there cometh also disgrace, and with ignominy reproach. When the wicked cometh, alludes to his off. When the wicked cometh, alludes to his off. As it says, and they shall be called the border of wickedness. there cometh also disgrace, for this disgrace came with him, meaning he made himself an object of disgrace in general, and with ignominy, reproach. The ignominy of famine accompanied him. For reproach refers to feminine, as in the first, and I will no more make you a reproach, a famine amongst the nations. And here it says, there is no verse which runs exactly thus. This is a combination of Joel 2 and Ezekiel 34:30. So Joel 11 and 19, 11:19, and Ezekiel 34:30. So hence it is written, and there was a famine in the land. And that's where that chapter of the book regarding Toldot stops. So since we understand that, we can go on and study from where we left off, because we are still in Vayishlach. We are still in Vayishlach, right? So our teacher instructed. Wait. So let's recap with where we went, right? Because thing is, before him, this means that the man Isav, whose time had come to take sovereignty before him, which means that the gentle would wield power before Yaakov, would enjoy sovereignty only at the end. That's where we went, where we left off. So let's recap that. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said Yaakov disrobed himself of the purple, right? We were talking about purple here, and threw it down before him, Yisav, thus intimating two flocks of starlings cannot sleep on one board. Well, we understand this. We understand what happened here and how big it is. So, to his brother Esau, he was still his brother, unto the land of Seir, the field of Edom, meaning red. He was red. Oh, oops, the page. I just looked the other side, the other way, and now, oh man, I lost track. Because the page just flew over. Let me see. Yes, something really unfortunate happened here, because now I lost where we were. Went all the way to some specifics, and this is what it says. Vayishlach. So that's really funny how this whole thing went, because he screamed out, right? We remember that, right? So thing is, Vayishlach revealed, yes, 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 almost. Some messengers, but wait. Oh, if I lost track. I really lost track. How could that have happened? This is Shalom. Oh, wow. No, this is way too far. I really lost it. and I'm trying to go back where I think I started, but like, what's going on? This is very interesting. I hear Malachim, yes. And commanded them. Send messengers. Oh, we are going too far, I think. Still. Yes, here it was, yes. And to be certain this time I'm gonna slide something between it. So unto the land of Seir, the field of Edom was red, right? We read that. So the thing is like his food was red. So his garments were red. He was red, his food red, his land red, his warriors red, his garments were red, and his adventure will be red. Red in the clad in the red, he was red. And then he said, let me swallow. So this is repeated in Toldot, and that is why it has relevance of me reading the whole thing and plugging it in here. In case you did not read it, I really want you to follow me along here, because all that's gonna come after it is gonna have relevance. So his country is red. This alludes to Esav, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the land of the field of red, right? His warriors are red. The valiant men are in scarlet. His adventure was red. My beloved is white and ruddy, as stated earlier. Clad in red, where is thine apparel red? And he commanded them, our teacher instructed, Rabbi Avez, write a letter in my name. Oh, we already read this. No, we didn't. Yes. We already read this, I think. Now I'm really lost. Because the page saver went out. That doesn't have to spoil the thing. We are going to read it again. Our teacher instructed Rabbi Avez, write a letter in my name to our Lord of Emperor Antoninus. No, we did not read this. So thereupon he arose and wrote from Judah, the prince of our sovereign, and the Emperor Antonius. He, Rabbi Judah, took and read it and tore it up and wrote, from thy servant Judah to our sovereign, the Emperor Antoninus, my master, remonstrated, why do you treat your honor so lightly? Am I then better than my ancestor? He replied. Did he not say thus? Thus said thy servant Yaakov, I've sojourned with Laban. Oh, yes. If I could put Laban, the prince of all cheats, in my sleeve, how much more so that man? And that man, Esav, this Yaakov's mention of Laban was in nature of a veiled hint. And this says it next as it continues, and what is the reason that I have stayed unto now? Because Esau's adversary had not yet been born. Rabbi Pinchas said in the name of Rabbi Shemuel ben Nachman, it is a tradition that Esau will fall at the hands of none other than Rachel's descendants. As it is written, surely the youngest of the flock shall drag them away, which means the youngest of the tribes. And Yaakov said, etc. It is this which was said by divine inspiration through Shlomo Hamelech of Israel. Blessings are upon the head of the righteous. He uttered this verse in reference to none other than Yaakov, and his blessings are upon the head of the righteous. Alludes to Yaakov, but the mouth of the wicked concealed violence. To the wicked Esau. Happy are the righteous who are blessed on earth and in heaven. And that is indeed in the nature of God. And then the commentary says, to bless in heaven, in whom the righteous have blessed on earth. Again, to bless in heaven those whom the righteous have blessed on earth. For it says, so that he who is blessed in the earth shall be blessed by the God of truth. Yeah. And yeah, like we know the opposite, falsehood checker, right? Amos the checker. This teaches that for all the blessings wherewith Yitzchak blessed Yaakov, the Holy One blessed be he blessed him in corresponding fashion above. Yitzchak blessed him, so God gave thee of the dew of heaven. While God blessed him with dew, and remnant of Yaakov shall be in the midst of many peoples of dew, etc. While God blessed him with the increase, as it says, and he will give the rain for thy seed, wherewith thou sowest the ground, and the bread of the increase of the ground, and it shall be fat and plenteous. Yitzchak said, a plenty of corn and wine. While God said to him, and the Lord answered and said unto his people, behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil. And oil. Yitzchak said to him, let people serve thee. While God said to him, and kings shall be the foster fathers. And kings shall be thy foster fathers. Yitzchak said to him, be Lord over thy brethren. While God said to him, through our teacher Moshe, and to make thee high above all the nations. Thus you learn that with all the blessings with which Yitzchak blessed him on earth, God blessed him in heaven. His mother Rebekah too blessed him in like fashion, as it says, thou that dwells in the covert of the Most High, for he will give his angels charge over thee. So keep thee in all thy ways, while the divine Spirit answered her, he shall call upon me, and I will answer him. Now since the Holy One, blessed be he, blessed him, why did his father and mother bless him again, as it says, and Yitzchak called Yaakov and blessed him. Yitzchak foresaw by divine inspiration that his children would be exiled, and he therefore said to him, come, and I will give thee a blessing fitting for the exile, that the Holy One blessed be he, may bring thee back from the exile. And how did he bless him? He will deliver thee in 6 troubles. in 6 troubles. Therefore it says, blessings are upon the head of the righteous. Therefore commends his discourse, thus grant not, O Lord, the desires of the wicked. For do not his evil device. Sovereign of the universe, do not grant the wicked Esau to fulfill the schemes of his heart, which he schemed against Yaakov. What is the meaning of for do not his evil device? And here is the word zamamo mentioned. He entered the reign of the universe. Make a bit zamam for the wicked Esau, so that he may not enjoy complete tranquility. What did the Holy One, blessed be He, make for Esau? Said Rabbi Chamma ben Rabbi Chanina, the barbarians and the Germans, gods and Huns, of whom the Edomites, Romans, are afraid. Yeah, we can see that. The conquest in history, right? Another interpretation of grant not, O Lord, the desires of the wicked. Yaakov entreated God, sovereign of the universe, even as Lavan thought to do harm to me, yet thou didst not permit him. So do frustrate the intentions of my brother, namely Esau, and he may not slay me. He, Esau, was one of the 3 men who schemed evil, but did not succeed in carrying it out. No! Esau, Jeroboam, and Haman of Esau, it is written, and Esau said in his heart of Jeroboam, and Jeroboam said in his heart, etc., as is mentioned in Kings, 1 Kings, right? So the passages refer to the revolt of the northern Israel against Rehoboam, and Jeroboam setting up the golden calves to prevent disaffection. So though Jeroboam's revolt was successful, his dynasty was subsequently overthrown. It's really interesting that here is a mention of Jeroboam and northern Israel, right? Like, look at the word, like this whole thing with Hezbollah in north of Israel, those airstrikes and things like that. It's very interesting. And then, if we go back, what did the Holy One, blessed be He, make for Esau? The barbarians, the Germans, gods and Huns, of whom the Edomites, Romans are afraid. What do we have right now? We have like LGBT people rebelling in the street, pro-Palestinian people rebelling in the street. We have people. We have all kinds of internal threats in the West, right? They have plenty to be afraid of. They don't like us either, right? But they blame the Jews for it. But who's gonna pay the price for all of that? It's like to a Trojan horse, right? Which we know about. It's like they created that problem because the recipe is now preparing the food. All along, the ingredients have been on the table and have been discussed by far right-wing leaders, And now they have elected a lot of right-wing leaders. And what can right-wing leaders do right now? There isn't that much to do. The problem is already here. There's already people ganging up in streets. Another matter to point is that it is just 12 o'clock a.m. Friday 13th. Since we are talking about schemers, some not really nice people, if not far from my house, are lighting fireworks because they are plotting a scheme against me, because we can see this, we can take it to a personal level. There is so much going on and the thrill simply does not end. It simply does not end. However, it is enough that this can be likened to and can be compared to. So if we return to where we left off, before I start comparing LGBT and Palestinians with the Huns and the gods and whatever, so will I too first slay my father and then my brother and inherit the world alone. As it says, let the days of mourning for my father be at hand. That's what's writing in Genesis. He did not say, let my father die, but let the days of the mourning for my father come near. Meaning, I will first bring near haste in the morning for my father, and after that I will slay Yaakov. That's how he schemed. That's how he schemed. And we can relate to this in a literal level, like with these two brothers that we are talking about here. But in a certain sense, it's also an interaction between two different groups in society, two different empires and two different people. There's so much going on, and there's also different midot here. We can go into multiple directions here. But the Holy One, blessed be He, did not enable him to carry out his design. Hence it says, grant not, O Lord, the desires of the wicked, etc. Another comment on, and Yaakov sent messengers, come and see what precedes this passage. Yaakov said, when he saw them, this is God's camp. Of how many did the camp of God consist? 2,000 myriads of ministering angels. As it says, the chariots of God are myriads, even thousands upon thousands. And he called the name of the place Mahanaim. Two camps, that place. Two camps. Why two camps? To teach that 4,000 ministering angels disguised themselves for Yaakov's sake. And they all looked like king's troops. Some were clad in armor, while others were horsemen. Others, again, were charioteers. So, perhaps the Midrash means that so many were needed because they were thus split up in different companies. However, I have to call it to a halt. It's officially Friday right now, and I'm gonna upload this video. It's very interesting. It's 2 hours and 23 minutes. This is way longer and containing way more context than I wanted to. Again, I want to state a disclaimer, don't take everything as truth, but I'm sharing my thoughts and contemplations here. And feel free to leave a comment or to reach out to me by comment and share this video, do whatever. But I also invite you to study and come to your own conclusions by doing so. So Bezrat Hashem, in another video we will continue from this point, because there's too much going on in this world. There's a lot of things going on in my life at the moment, and I have to act upon that. So Bezrat Hashem, more of my content will be uploaded, and we will Bezrat Hashem continue from this. Maybe not directly, believe neder. I'm not gonna try to promise things here, because things are really uncertain, like I said in the first video, and now some things alluding to the first video is in the second video. That's very interesting. It's like a stuck final with a side A and a side B. Like, we don't want to be in a stuck final pattern kind of thing. We want to break the pattern. But because wickedness and schemes is everywhere, and we don't want to see how the law and justice is being messed with by people that scheme to do evil. Be'ezrat Hashem, soon it's going to be Hanukkah. This is the celebration of where light wins over darkness. And I see a lot of parallels with the biblical and rabbinical holidays in my life, personally. So this is very beautiful. Well, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Atah Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Shalom. Salah.